Good morning, gang. Can you hear me and see me? Okay, fantastic. Love it. It's great to see so many old faces here I haven't seen for a while. I'm Michael Timminger. Good to see you. Hi, Michael Hegarty. Nice to see you. Mr. Vox, always a pleasure, my friend. Let's see who else we've got here that I recognize. Alison Garner. Hi, Alison. Lots of love to you. Uros, it's nice to see you back. Sean, it's nice to see you. I last saw you in London. Seems like a lifetime ago, but it was only a few weeks back. Hi, Stephanie. I also saw you there in London. Arvind, I saw you joined us. That's great to see you, man. I'm sending you lots of love. Townsend, hello, brother. Hey, man.
Hi, Rich.
Hi, guys. Hey, Beta, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, I saw Corinne just come on, which is great. Vaishnavi, you're becoming a familiar face. It's nice to see Bridget here, Nicola's here. You guys go on to about 4 screens so far on my computer, so let me pause on the hellos and let me ask you to say hi. Can you say hi? Oh. I thought it'd be nice to have some greenery behind me, but it looks like I'm an alien with that plant over there. Move that somehow. I dressed up this morning. It felt really nice. Can you all mute yourselves, please? Some of you hit unmute just then. Keep yourselves muted. I can do it at this end, but it helps you. You can do that. Hi, Louisa. Yeah, I dressed up. I had to shower really quietly because everyone was asleep, and I put on a suit. It just felt really nice to dress up. We've been in our PJs many days, so it just felt nice to do something different. A couple of days ago, we had dinner. Monique said to the kids, you know what, kids, for dinner, go and dress in the craziest outfit you can. So Kaleo came back with, in England, we call it a vest top. I think you call it a singlet over here with a tie. And Ellington wore his PJs and put his underwear over his PJs and said he was Captain Underpants, which for those of you who know is actually a character from a book that he loves to read. I dressed up in a Hulk costume. We have one of those big muscle costumes I used at a party once. And Monique dressed up in her onesie, so she looked like a lamb or a sheep. So I'm sending you guys lots of love in this moment. I hope you and your families are well. And the purpose of these calls is, it dawned on me that anyone who's ever been a client of ours, anyone who's ever come to an intensive, worked with me in any way, how can I find a way to give back to them, support them in this moment? So once a week we're putting these calls on. We said it was until April, but my feeling is we'll go a bit longer than that. This is a safe place to not have to prove yourself. You already have. If you're one of the people in our community, you already have. Don't feel the need to look good, to sound good. You can be real, and the more real you are, the deeper we can go. I'm going to teach a couple of things today, some tools I've been teaching to my high-end clients, and then I will open it up for questions and see where we go. But first of all, will you post in the chat, tell us where you're from, where you are right now. Just it's always fun to get a quick download. Vaishnavi, I saw you're in Mumbai. I was watching Trevor Noah last night, and he had 2 images of New Delhi with the sky. From a few days ago, the sky was completely grey because of the smog in Delhi. And now with what's happening, people not being in vehicles, not being out, it was a blue sky in India, in Delhi at least. And that was beautiful to see. Okay, once again, we've got people all over the world. That's beautiful. All right, let me ask you this question. How would you like to feel when this call is over? Some of you can stay to the end, some of you might leave early. How would you like to feel at the end of this call? So put that into the box. How would you like to feel? Great stuff here. Jenny, you said have one clear action step. Before that, how would you like to feel so you're ready for your one clear action step? So let's stay with the feelings in this moment, you guys. Okay, grounded, clear, connected, proud of myself, focused, inspired, calm and resolute, alive with a mission, excited, energized. Okay, great. Here's what I'd like to ask you to do next. Cast your mind back. It might be 3 days, it might be a week. I don't know about you guys, time is just rather strange right now. I got a text from my team on Friday last week saying, hey, we haven't got the newsletter yet you write for the community. I was for Saturday, and I was, oh my God, I thought it was Wednesday. It felt like Wednesday and it was Friday. Time is just a rather strange concept in this moment. So cast your mind back. It could be 3 days, it could be a week. What are you proud of? What are you proud of? Personal, professional, doesn't matter. Write down 3 to 5 things that you're proud of and then post it in the link here. And don't hold back. Don't think, well, I can't say that in front of people. If you're proud of something you've created, whether it's in business, whether it's for clients, whether it's in your personal life, what are 3 to 5 things that you're proud of? And you can do them one at a time. You don't have to make the list. Beautiful. A couple of you talked about being optimistic. David said fathering. I love that. Yeah. Ankit helped save my client 500 hours this week. Wow, nice. Thriving for my business. Magda put her first video out there. That's great. Pro bono coaching for leaders. That's awesome, Kristen. And while you guys are writing that, I'm going to share what I'm proud of. One of my clients, it may have been on this call, I forget now, I've lost track of things, but one of my clients used to be a coach and a leader at Google, and she's now a private coach. And she mentioned to me that she has a client in Italy who's a doctor and a healthcare worker. And he's on the front lines of the healthcare system in Italy. And she said, and he's a big fan of yours, Rich. So I said, well, how would you like it if we did a call, you and me with him, where we both coach him and I'm just there for your client? And she said, oh my God, that would be amazing. And so last Friday, I got on a call with a man who's been involved in healthcare for a long time as a doctor on the front lines of the healthcare system in Italy. And I served him as powerfully as I could. And it felt really good to be able to make a little difference in that way. That's one thing I'm proud of. And I'm proud I'm reading The Hobbit to my kids, which I've always looked forward to reading to them. And I'm playing lots of Lego right now with them. David, I see you're doing what I'm doing, the home haircuts now, right? You got your clippers at home? Yep. It's growing back in right now. I messed it up a little bit last week. I couldn't get the blend of this bit up here with the bit down the sides, but I'm getting better. Now I'm getting nervous because it's getting long on top. How am I going to cut that? I have no idea. So the challenges we're all dealing with. All right. So the reason I ask you guys to write down what you're proud of is we do this in 4PC every 90 days. Every 3 months, we pause, we get together and we reflect on where we've been. Because the problem with being a visionary or a leader or a coach is you're future focused, which is an asset. But every asset has a dark side. And if you're always focused on the future, you're a bit like those kids in the car when you're driving and you're a parent and the kids are saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? You never get to the horizon. It's really good every few days to turn around. Well, we do every 90 days in normal times. In this moment in time, sometimes even every day, just to turn around and see, where have I come from? What am I proud of? Even the tiniest things. So that's looking at the past instead of looking at the future. Now let's look at the present moment. In this present moment, what are you confident about? And let me clarify that before you start to write what you're confident about. This isn't a future-based confidence. It's not, I'm confident that Fred, my client, will re-sign in a few days. That's a hope, that's fingers crossed. Confidence, I'm confident that I'm a good dad right now. I'm confident that I'm really serving my current 3 clients in the best way I can right now. I'm confident I've worked on my coaching skills for 5 years now, and I feel good about the skills that I have. It's a present moment confidence. What are you confident about? Share with, oh, there you go, Magda's, I'm confident I'm a good mum. That's great. What are you confident about? Oh, Jenny, I'm thrilled that you're here. Thanks for the difference you're making to our mutual friend right now. We were talking yesterday, he was sharing how happy he is that you're his coach. That's great. Yeah, and once again, when we're future focused, we're out there wondering what's going to happen, trying to make things ready for what's going to happen. We lose sight of being in the present moment. Reflecting on the past allows us to be a bit proud of what we have accomplished. And reflecting on the present allows us to bring a sense of confidence back into our world. So again, thanks for doing that. That's great. Okay, so how many of you are in the Facebook group that I created? Can you wave a hand so I can see? I'm going to go through a few screens right now. Most of the hands are up. Okay, great. And others have got these screens. Some of you, I know you're in your PJs or you're doing other things, you're multitasking, and that's perfect. Do what you need to do. If you're not in that Facebook group we created, there's a Facebook group called Serve Lead Serve. Just go onto Facebook, put Serve Lead Serve into the search box, or go on my feed and go down a few posts and you'll find a link to it. I'm sharing a lot of resources there with coaches right now. And I wrote about this in the newsletter last night. If you haven't read it or you don't read it, somebody replied, I didn't ask me anything. People can ask me any question, any topic, and I answered dozens and dozens and dozens of questions. And someone said, wow, Rich, you created a Facebook group that went from 0 to over 1,500 people in a few days. That's amazing. So I replied to him, and then I wrote about this last night, and I said, no, I created a Facebook group with 1,500 coaches in 15 years. It just looks like it happened in 7 days. For 15 years, I've been out there serving, giving the most value I can, trying to make a difference to people's lives and people's worlds. And so when I create a Facebook group, it fills up more quickly than somebody else might be. It speaks to the long-term game we're in. It speaks to everything Steve and I wrote about in The Prosperous Coach a few years ago. The Prosperous Coach is always about playing a long-term game. And all of us have to play a short-term game and a long-term game at the same time. Short-term, who can I serve? Every morning waking up, who can I serve? Long-term, I'll give you some tools for that a little bit later, some questions that will help stimulate your thinking. So this tool I'm about to give you, I did write about in the Facebook group yesterday, but I want to talk about it in real time. I worked with a business consultant a few years ago who gave me these 6 core elements of my business that I should be looking at on a regular basis. And I've adapted them to fit more with being a coach. I'll tell you the 6 elements because some of you coach business leaders. So if they're not coaches, the 6 core elements, so I'll put them down here. Let me see if I can paste this in here. Send this to everyone. Okay, it should go through. Okay, the 6 core elements of your business, they're in the chat: marketing and sales, delivery, support that's operations, finances, and mindset. Those are the 6 core elements of any business. In coaching, what is called marketing out there in the world, if you use the approach that most of us do who are here, the Prosperous Coach approach, that's about serving people who are not yet your clients. That's your marketing. Finding ways to serve people who aren't current clients. Some of you might do other stuff as well, from Facebook ads and so on, but whatever you're doing to serve potential clients is really your marketing. Sales is what we call making proposals. When you look someone in the eye and say, look, this is what it would cost to work with me. And then they say, yes, that's a sale. Coaching clients, that's how you deliver what you do if you're in this game that we're in. Operations or a team, some of you don't have teams, or whatever you're doing for the support for the business, handling the taxes, doing the stuff that needs to be done with a virtual assistant team and so on. Then there's finances, and then there's your mindset. That should probably be number one, truthfully, because for most of us and for most of our clients, our thinking gets in the way much of the time. So here's the strategy behind this. Your brain is a problem-solving machine. So you need to give it something to work on. If you don't give your brain a problem to work on, it's going to sit with the big problems in the world right now. It's going to be in worry and fear and doubt and insecurity. And I've said it last time, I'll say it again. I really recommend you don't spend much time watching TV news because it's designed to make you very afraid. So you keep watching over the adverts and they make their money. It's a business. Read your news if you need to. Schedule your news at the beginning or the end of the day. Maybe not the beginning. I try not to read in the news until noon, before noon. So give yourself a better problem to work on. What you do is you write down this list of core elements of your business, and under each category, you write down every problem you're facing. So do that right now. You can cut and paste those 6 things and or write the words out and write at least one problem for each of these areas. Some of you may not have a problem for one of these areas in particular, that's okay. But write down in real time right now, one or more problems that you're facing in one or more of these areas, and then you can post it into the chat. It was 2,200 years ago when there was a Roman emperor called Marcus Aurelius. And he said that the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Ryan Holiday wrote a more modern version of that a few months ago. I read a book called The Obstacle is the Way. Once your mind has an obstacle, it gets honed in on getting past the obstacle. So you've got to give it a bunch of obstacles, a bunch of problems to solve. So let's have you guys write down at least one problem in any one of these areas and post it here in the chat. I will have somewhere to go. There you go. Procrastinating around doing my taxes. Needed to create more time to serve potential clients. How do I find potential clients? Great. Trying to reach more potential clients. Okay, now we're starting to put some problems out. This is great. Oh, hi, Evelyn. Nice to see you here. Great. Evelyn's got a quality problem. She needs more support right now as her workload is getting too big. She's getting lots of people who want her support in this moment in time. Chris Joseph, hi Chris, a balance between family and coaching time. Who knows that one of struggling with that balance between family time and coaching time? And I find when I stop working and I come in to the house, well, I walk through that door into the house, Monique's exhausted from being with the kids. So she wants to say, okay, you're on with the kids right now, or vice versa. So it's a little overwhelming for many of us. Okay, great. Great. Oh, hi, Bob. Just saw you here. Oh, hey, Christine. I'm glad you're here too. Okay, beautiful. So here's the thing about coaching is your job as a coach isn't to answer the questions that your clients come to you with. It's to help them find more challenging questions to lean into, more challenging questions to wrestle with. So already you turn each of these into a question for yourselves. I'm not going to sit here and answer them all. And then you've got a question that your brain can begin to focus on. If you said for the next 7 days, every time I wake up, I'm going to think about this question. Every time I walk into the bathroom, instead of doing that thing that I always do, which is to get my phone out and start reading the news or Twitter, when I walk into the bathroom, I'm going to think about my question. Before I go to bed at night, I'm going to think about this question. When I wake up in the morning, before I grab my phone, I'm going to remember my question because I've written it down on a piece of paper behind my nightstand, and I grab my piece of paper. When I get on a phone call with a friend, we're going to do some buddy coaching, or with my own coach, I'm going to bring my question into the room at the beginning of the day. If you sat with that question every day for a week, the world will shift. So that's the power of this exercise. Once a week, go back to these 6 areas of your business. find the biggest problems in each of them, and then you can begin to prioritize, and you begin to sit with those questions. Okay. Let's do this. Let me see who I can play with in this moment. Yeah, Evelyn, let me work with you. Can you come on, Evelyn?
Yeah.
And unmute. Hey, give me a wave, because I've got so many of you on my screen. It's hard to...
Wave, go crazy, go crazy. That
Okay,
one.
that helps. Great. So I want to give a shout out to Evelyn and an acknowledgement to Evelyn, because as well as working really hard in her business right now, her son got very sick a few days ago, had to get rushed into St. Thomas's Hospital, which is the hospital where Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, is right now.
Yep.
It was a very scary moment in time. Thankfully, he's back home right now. He's doing okay, right?
He's doing great. And then he had to go back to hospital on Sunday because he was doing so well. He fell off the trampoline backwards, hit his head on the concrete. So two times hospital in a week.
So Evelyn, she's putting a brave face on right now, but Evelyn's one of my heroes when it comes to parenting, because Tuffle, her son, was born without a lower intestine. And doctors said he wouldn't survive. And Evelyn is a fighter and said, you know, doctors might be good at diagnosis, they're not good at prognosis. And I challenge you on that one. And he's the same age as my son, and he's still thriving. So I bow to you, Evelyn, when it comes to being a parent. How can I support you when it comes to being a coach in this moment?
Thank you, Rich. So my challenge right now is to use the time that I have to serve most effectively. I feel that I feel I'm really on mission and on purpose right now, because you know, I help, as you know, I help people coming alive and connecting on camera. So it's a top skill that lots of people need. My time is super limited, and my energy is limited too. My willingness is super high. And so what's happening right now is I'm serving, and then I burn out. Meaning that my head it gets really fuzzy. My eyes have started hurting, which is why I'm trying using the glasses now. And I guess the question I need to lean into is, what kind of support do I need, and how can I make it more efficient? Because what I don't want to do, what I'm scared of, is I don't want to sit in the time that I do have not serving people when this is so important. And on the other hand, I don't want to go too salesy and go, look, guys, everyone work with me right now. So it's finding that balance, and it's finding that beautiful, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds simple when you say it, the support, but what would it look like for me right now? Like how can I bring what I can help people with out to the world in the best possible way for my community and for the people who need it, the leaders, but also for myself?
Great question. And the answer is in the very last words you said, also for myself. Yeah. You're going to have to, all of us right now are going to have to walk our talk, take care of ourselves first, rather than being out there too much and taking care of so many others that we're burnt out. Because you're a mother of 2 kids, you have a business, you have clients, you have people who are not yet your clients who you're serving, you're out there in all sorts of ways. You've got to protect Evelyn. You've got to take care of Evelyn first. It's rather trite, but putting your oxygen mask on first, we've all heard of. It's very real in this moment in time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try wearing a mask with glasses. Every time I go out with a mask on, my glasses steam up. It's a nightmare. Those of you who wear glasses might know that one. So first of all, it's looking at where can you take time for Evelyn?
Yeah.
And that means real quality time for you. Actually, it means quality time and I'd say almost like non-quality time. So quality time is eating healthily, drinking lots of water, getting lots of sleep, moving your body.
Yeah.
Non-quality time, where can you veg out? Where can you watch Tiger King on Netflix or whatever it is that you want to watch? Yeah, don't talk about Tiger King. It's amazing. It's so fascinating, but that's another story.
They're literally yeah.
Where can you take time that's quality and time that isn't quality, that you'd be kind of embarrassed perhaps to say out loud, but you need that? That's number one.
So I think that piece I've got that. I'm really good at looking after myself in that way. So what I've done in the last week is I've implemented home spa, because I'm a spa woman. And so I've got myself candles. I got myself the salts and the nice smelly things, and I made myself homemade facials and body scrubs. And so last night I was, hello Tuffle. That's
Hey,
the man.
Tavo.
So I went in the bathtub and I watched Tiger King with candles.
Who's Tiger King?
That's a different story. We'll talk about this another time.
Just tell me.
No, no,
Ow! Look at that dumb chair there. No
Tuffle,
one told
please.
me about it.
Oh dear.
My
So when
mother
the,
likes
This is our life right now. This for all of us. So
exactly how it's happening.
Sometimes she
Thomas Tuffle, can I?
I'm not Tiger.
God, you're not. Okay, now give me a space.
No, I love you. I want to be close to you, but I like you.
Oh gosh, you're so cute.
I want to like.
So when the kids are with their dad, that's when I get that kind of time to myself. When they're not, then after they're sleeping, I do take time. And I've done dance parties. I've joined a pleasure school. So I've taken time to look after myself. I feel I'm doing that part quite well, but it's within the business part that I get heated in my head, literally.
So let's separate those two out. And I'm glad you shared that with us, because some of us don't do that as well as you do, and it's great to be able to hear that. And I appreciate you being real. Normally Ellington comes in and jumps on me while I'm doing these calls. So, although my kids are going to bed about 10 o'clock at night these days. So.
Okay, listen, you're going to move down or up depending on how this is going, please, yeah? You take this as a chance, okay? Thank you.
What the heck?
Tuffel, das ist mal ganz im Ernst. Tuffel, ganz im Ernst. Darf die Mama das bitte jetzt machen?
Okay, but
Dankeschön.
But I need more.
And let me know. I can always come back to you, Evelyn, if you want to take
Fine.
time with Tuffle for a
He
minute.
doesn't know, he knows the, if
Summer
he wants pad time,
baby.
he's going to be really good now, doesn't he? He
Stop.
wants to play Sonic later.
Huh?
So I need quiet
You
now.
mean, no, you mean
Thank
the new
you.
games I just
Yes,
downloaded?
or the new games. Can mommy have time now?
Up, up, up,
All right, get out, please. Close the door and be quiet. Thank you. Oh no, Sonic. Ready? Thank you. All right, we have deals with the pad.
I know. all those also parents who had these ideals about screen time 3 weeks ago. I know these are limits we have on screen time. It's like, now it's our savior. So, yeah.
It is. Now we have a screen. I bought one.
So Evelyn, when it comes to the business,
Yeah.
the premise for you right now is the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is looking at this idea that 80% of your results come from 20% of the things that you do. There are 20% of your clients who create 80% of the fun and excitement that you have. There are 20% of the activities that you do that generate 80% of your business. The 80-20 rule is a fascinating concept. It applies in lots of areas in life. And once a quarter, it's a tool that I use and my clients use to look at everything they're up to. So for you right now, it's time to do an 80-20 analysis. Who are the people, when I spend time with them, that it generates 80% of the results, the excitement, the interest, the business? I had to catch myself with that the other day because I had this idea about serving. Created a Facebook group for the wider community of coaches. Every day, 10, 20 people are joining. It's 1,600 people now and it's growing. But I've spent the last decade honing my business that we work with really top performers. That there are only certain types of coaches who are the people who are for us. We're not for everybody. If you're here, anyone who's here means that you're part of our community. But some of the people in that group are not. And so I had to catch myself, like, be careful where you're drawn in to be with people who are not your community. And there I'd be breaking my 80-20 mindset. And so have a look at all the activities, make a list of all the activities you're doing. Once you've made your list, have a look at where are the 20% of these activities that are making all the difference right now. And that includes activities that actually energize me, because you might be doing some activities that drain you of energy. And even though they have a result, the result's not as powerful because you're drained because of it.
I notice I get drained even when it's things that initially it energizes me, but afterwards I'm drained. So for example, I ran a webinar on the 5 steps of connecting to the camera. And I was super excited and very energized in the moment with 50 people. And it was great. But afterwards, that's when I'm tired. I just need a lot of rest.
Well, that's slightly different. I mean, you're a performer. You know what it's like. You go on. My wife's a jazz singer. She comes off stage and she's full of energy and she's also exhausted at the same time. And so, yeah, there's something slightly different there, which is make sure if you do a webinar with 50 people that you've blocked out time for you to veg out afterwards or to dance afterwards.
Yeah. which is what I didn't do, right? I took the next client call and then the next exploration call, and then can you help me with this quickly? And I have a quick question about video.
So slow things down, do an 80-20 analysis, put on your calendar blocks of time in between serving other people. Even if it's for 5 minutes right now, I'm going to take a jump rope and do some skipping or do some push-ups, whatever it is, creating little blocks of time to get back in your body.
Yeah.
Let me pause with you for this moment. I want to come to others as I'm sharing this one.
Thank you.
And if you have any insights, you can share them in a moment in the chat. I know I'll let you be with Tuffle for a minute. Let's see, would you guys share an insight you had from anything there, or any insights you have particularly about the 80-20 rule for your business? What are the 20% of activities right now that actually really make a difference? And if you let go of the other 80%, not only would you not lose anything, but you might gain in all sorts of ways. So it's such a powerful tool, the 80-20 analysis. And while Evelyn's doing that, Bob, I saw you mention something earlier. It's hard with this chat. I get hundreds of messages, but Bob, I saw you said something about being challenged by proposals. Would you be willing to come on and let me talk to you about proposals and see what the game is there? What's going on?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Rich.
Hey.
It's funny that you said that, because that has been, I mean, it's been constant for a while since we've been working together. And I've even reached out to you prior, you know, in the old chat group on it, and you answered me very loud and clear. And I'm still having a problem with it. I don't understand it. And I have been waking up the past couple of days thinking about it, because I have a few.
So let me take it out of the abstract about proposals into something real. Have you been in conversation with somebody where you thought, I want to make a proposal, but I don't know how, I feel stuck? Make it real for me with a real person. So
a couple of weeks ago, I did make some proposals, and I feel like we even had some chat on it. I wasn't optimal, right? Perhaps. He asked a question of, you know, how much does it work with me? And I wasn't going to tell him how much it worked with me until he was ready to work with me. And we said, how is that like working with a car dealership kind of thing? And now I have two more conversations.
So slow down, Bob. Slow down.
Will.
Thanks. Tell me the name of the first person you were talking about. What was his name? Okay, we'll call him Simon. Let's call him Simon. Okay.
Simon's close enough. Good.
Okay, great. So what specifically happened with Simon?
So
he said, yeah, and see if you can capture it in just a sentence or two. I didn't get all the details.
We had a great hour and a half, 2 hours. And he said, I really want to work with you. I have said things to you I've never said to anybody. You get me. I want to work with you. How much will it cost? Can you tell me what he does in the world? You can keep it relatively anonymous, but what does he do? He's a vice president at one of the big firms. Great. And he just got into this role and wants to make sure that he, you know, doesn't screw up. That's the right thing. And he knows that I can help him all the way through. Yeah. It's been 2 weeks since you spoke to him last? Yes. Have you been in communication at all in those 2 weeks? No. Do you know what's happening with his firm right now? I don't know. So do some research. Google the firm. Look on LinkedIn for, you know, what his profile, other people at that firm. You'll get a sense quite quickly what they're up to. Are they furloughing people? Did he lose his job? Is he now really thriving? Get a little sense of what's going on. And then I would reach out to him. And everything's off the table right now. So I would, things have changed a lot in the last couple of weeks. I would reach out with, you know, right now I'm recommending you pick up your phone and make a little video message. And it'll be something like this. Hey, Simon, I came across a news article about your company yesterday. I saw that you guys are laying off some senior employees right now, or I saw that you guys are really thriving in this moment. And I was thinking of you. Let me tell you this, I'm taking off the table anything we talked about in the past, any idea of us working together. I can be here for you. If you want to have just 15 minutes where we can jump on a call and you can get a sense of clarity, a little more confidence than you had a moment earlier,
and you have one single step to take at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, just text me back, and I'm in. I'll make a time that I can support you.
I love that. I want to do that. And the first thing that came to my mind as you was talking was doing that video. I think that would work tremendously with him.
Yeah.
And I know he wants to talk with me. I just know he does.
Yeah.
And and like everything off the table, we just want to talk. I just want to, yeah, I get it.
If the world hadn't shifted in the last couple of weeks, I would share a different way to deal with him and owning, your insecurities about the numbers. But you don't need to do that right now. Everything's changed for him. Who knows where he is? Get him back in a conversation and see if you'd like to have 10 or 15 minutes. By the way, what I didn't say, what I like to say at the end of a message like that is words like this. And if you're good for now, if you don't need support, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sending you some love right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It gives them permission to feel okay. Otherwise they feel kind of guilty, like he's offered support, I don't feel comfortable saying it, or life's good. You just gave them permission to be okay with, okay, great. I don't have to tell
I really love that, because that's me.
Yes.
That's all I care about is him.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tell me about one of these other people, Bob.
Oh, well, it's somebody I have coming up.
Yep.
Coming up. So I was referred to this person. We had a discussion. We had a first invite meeting last week. It went very well. Again, she was in corporate before. She's been out for a while for a reason. And now she wants to get back in. And, I told her I'm not a career coach. I'm not going to get her a job, but I will get her back to being as powerful as she was before, because she's got some things that kind of, internal stuff that's keeping her down. And I could definitely work with her, and I can see where she's going to be terrific, because she was terrific before, and she's really the kind of person I want to work with, right? Somebody who really shows that they're powerful, and they're just a little bit afraid to go a little bit to the next level. And now we're having the second conversation where I said, let's set up, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Let's put 2 hours on the calendar. Let's really go deep, because now I'm going to really be coaching. And she's like, I love that. Let's do it. Right. And in my head, I'm afraid she's going to ask how much. And I'm not prepared. I still am just not prepared. And I don't know why, Richard. And I'm not. So you guys, always call you Richard.
I need to tell everyone that Bob worked at IBM for 30 years. He was a senior leader there. And he has all the skills that are needed right now by senior leaders who are handling crises in their business life and in their personal life. Bob, are you okay if I share a little bit about your personal life, or is that not?
Absolutely. Everything is there, of course.
So Bob was married for many years, and then 25 years realized that actually there was a part of him that wasn't being expressed, that he's a gay man, and chose to come out and move on from that family, still with great relationships, but now is married to his husband. And I know and I've coached a number of people over the years who've come out. The courage it takes at any stage of your life to come out is immense. And so Bob is a man who's also dealt with the fears and doubts and insecurities, and the courage it takes to express real truth. So what a gift this man is to people right now who maybe could get value from him. Bob has just got a story made up about numbers and how it's difficult to say them out loud. And I've said this to you before, Bob, but you need a piece of paper, which is your menu. And it has 3 items on the menu. No. And it's really simple. No. When we go into a restaurant and we ask, hey, what's on the menu? The waiter comes up. They don't come up and say, hey, my self-esteem is a bit low today. I don't really want to talk to you about, let's find out what kind of food you're into first before I share with you the menu. You ask for the wine list. You say, I'd like that bottle of wine there, please. They don't go, you know what, it's a little bit expensive. Are you sure you can afford that? I'm not sure if I should be selling that to you. They just give you the menu and you get to choose. And so you need a menu, Bob. And do you have one yet? Because I think we've talked about this.
Yes, we have. And Les, I did tell you that I did have a menu. Yes.
What's on your menu? Tell me the 3 items on your menu.
So, you can work with me for a year. It's about $20,000.
What do you mean about?
Yeah, it's $20,000 to work with me for a year.
Thank you.
Some people work just 6 months, and it's $13,000 for 6 months. Other people need something a little bit more special. We need to figure that out. Are you willing to go forward? Probably, that's
Okay. Pause. You can feel the energy in Bob right now, right? This is, who knows this one? Who feels this one too? Just raise a hand. Yeah. So Bob, you're not alone. He's sweating right now. He's on a hot seat.
Sweating so much.
Yeah.
I wake up and I just, it's okay. Go ahead. I'll slow down.
Yeah. Take a breath. It's okay.
Thank you.
It's okay. We've all been there. I mean, this is why I teach this stuff. I've been there myself. I go through, every time I raise my prices, I go through this. So, and lots of people are saying they love you, they're with you, you're inspiring. Kathy just said the menu is the best thing I did. So, Michael, I hear you. So Bob, you've got 3 items on your menu. You need to write them down on a piece of paper. So when somebody says to you, what does it look like to work with you? You literally, like in a restaurant, you pick it up and say, well, look, there are 3 ways in normal times. Here's what I might say right now. In normal times, there are 3 ways clients work with me. Some people work with me for a year. Some people work with me for 6 months. And some people have, for you, Bob, I might say like a customized consulting session.
Exactly.
Which can last between half a day and a day. And all of you can use those words, a customized consulting session. Find a way that makes it sound simple for half a day or a day. Don't worry about the numbers for now. In this moment, you don't need to say the numbers until they ask more. So, when you're in a restaurant, Bob, and you ask the wine waiter, can I see the wine list? And you say, well, tell me about this wine here. They don't say, well, that one's $25. They say, oh, well, this comes from this vineyard. It's this year. They don't go straight to, we go to the numbers immediately when we're afraid. And we don't need to do that. That's a catch for us. If they ask for more, we can say more. Look, these are the 3 ways people normally work with me. And what I might say for you, Bob, right now, something like this. Look, how does it, Bob, this is amazing. I love it. I want to do some more. What does it look like to work with you? Well, here's my piece of paper where I have it written down. I always keep it on my desk. You can say that. And on my piece of paper, look, the 3 ways people normally work with me are, some work with me for a year. Some don't need a year. They work with me for 5 or 6 months. And some don't even need that. They need a customized consulting session, which lasts between 2 hours and a full day. And then I would pause and say nothing and wait and see what happens. Because they might go, oh my God, you know what? I've wanted coaching for years. Now's the time. I've got this role as a really senior leader. If I don't invest in myself now, I'm in. How do we do a year? Or they might say, tell me more about that customized consulting session. Or they might say, well, how much do those things cost, Bob? And you can say, well, these are the 3 prices for these 3 things. And again, you pause. You say nothing. Just like the wine waiter, when you say, oh, that wine sounds really nice. How much does it cost? And they go, well, that's $75. And then sometimes you go, ooh, that's a bit steep for a bottle of wine. How much is this one? Oh yeah, great. 20 bottles, we'll have that bottle tonight. There's no self-esteem involved. It's just pure logistics. And then if this person says to you, you know what, I'd love to work with you, but based on what you said your prices are, I can't afford those 3 options, Bob. For years, what I've said is words to this effect. Look, let's call her Sarah. Sarah, if there's someone I really want to work with and they really want to work with me, and the only thing between us is the number, the money, then I get creative. And then I would say at this point, so tell me, is there any other reason other than just the money that you wouldn't be a yes to coaching right now? Because sometimes people say it's the money and it's not the money. It's their fear. It's you're really so amazing as a coach that they're terrified that if they don't achieve their goals, they're the one to blame now, nobody else. There's all sorts of other reasons. Time sometimes, I feel overwhelmed. I've got so much on, I'm a parent, I'm doing work. I don't think I'd have time for coaching. So that question, is there any other reason other than just the money? Why, if we got creative around what we could work out between us, that you wouldn't say yes right now? If they go, no, it's just like, if we could find a price point that works, I'm in, then you can start that conversation. Or there's the opposite. It's like, you know what, actually, I'm not sure I could say yes, even if I did have the money because X, Y, Z. Okay, great. And if they say there's no other reason, it's just, if we could find a price point that works, and then you can get creative. Look, I tell you what you don't need 6 months of coaching. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do 3 of these 2-hour calls? And if it's valuable, you can text me every single day. We'll create a check-in for you every single day where you're going to check in on one thing you're proud of and one tiny step you're going to take tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you feel confident about every day and you go to bed feeling proud of what you've accomplished. There's a great little tool for all of you right now. You can add into for your clients. All my personal clients have my cell phone number these days. Anyone who's in a group with me, we use Slack, and I've turned on notifications on my phone. I don't normally, but it means my clients in a group or one-on-one, as soon as they have a thought, I'm reading it. I might not reply immediately, but they know that I'm listening to them immediately.
That's good.
All right,
That's good. Thank you very much. This is the one thing that I need to really work on, and I really appreciate that. And I have a feeling that once I get over this, a lot is going to release and happen. Yeah. It's the thing that just keeps coming up for me, and I thank you so much for continuing to work with me on it. Yeah. Jay says the same thing you say. Have it written down and let's practice. And I still need to do that. I will. Thank you.
Look, I wrote about this in The Prosperous Coach. When did I write that book? 8 years ago. I got this insight. I wanted to charge $25,000 a year. And for 11 months, I was saying out loud, it's $25,000 a year to work with me. And nobody said yes. I didn't have no clients. I used that line about, well, let's get creative. And I created all sorts of things that didn't look like a year of coaching. I had one guy, and this was in the middle of the last recession, maybe 2008, one guy in Italy who signed up for an hour of coaching with me that we split into 4 15-minute coaching sessions that ran over about 2 months. And each time I'd give him more than 15 minutes. I just kept serving him. So you really can get creative in all sorts of ways.
That's
Thanks,
great.
Bob.
Thank you.
Bob, take a moment when you've had a breath to read through the comments. There's lots of people who are sharing their insights for you and where this is relevant for them, and acknowledgements of you.
I do appreciate everybody. And I'm gonna copy them right now.
Great. So Manny, I see you said, can I say those 2 things again? Yeah, one really simple tool with a client right now is to say to any of your clients, hey, would it be valuable for you to do a little check-in once a day, maybe by text or WhatsApp? Here's what you do. You make it really simple. You text and you'd say, this is one thing I'm proud of from today. And this is one thing I want to accomplish tomorrow morning. And the first thing I want to do tomorrow morning. That's it. And it's not accountability. I'm not going to make you feel bad if you don't do it. Just once a day, you're going to reflect on what you're proud of and what you're going to do tomorrow. Okay. Thanks, David. Yeah. So would you guys share a single insight you had from anything we did just now? Where's Jenny? Jenny HK. Hello, Jenny. How can I support you in this moment, Jenny? Nice to see you, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
How can you serve me? I guess what's going on at the moment is this feeling of I should be doing more. Like, because I know one of my superpowers is calming people down.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do that really quickly so that clarity comes through. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there at the moment that need that. Yeah. And so there's this feeling of, I should be just out there impacting way more people than I am. But I also know what I do best is that one conversation at a time. So there's this constant conversation going on in my head of like, I'm not doing enough. And then I end up doing not much.
Who else knows that one? Who else knows that one? Give a wave or yeah. So Jenny can see she's not alone. You've got this idea that you're really great one-on-one or in very small groups, but you have this gift right now and you could be serving so many people and you don't know how to, and you get lost in not doing anything. So you're not alone.
It kind of feels like a waste, but yeah.
So Jenny, tell me about one of the people who is a client of yours right now. Just describe who they are or what they do in the world.
Well, one of the clients I love working with is he's a CEO of a pretty well-known company. Well, I say he's the CEO. He's actually just been let go during this.
Okay, so let me stay with that for a second.
Yeah.
Just, I'm going to jump in for the sake of time. If he was currently a CEO, I'd have said this: wow, if you put more time and attention on him than you've ever done, this CEO who leads this company, the impact is huge, because the difference he can make to his senior team, to his employees, to his customers and clients. Wow, and you give your gifts there. It might look like you're only serving one person. It's actually hundreds or thousands, or depending on the company, hundreds of thousands. So if you're still in role, and for any of your clients who are still in their role, that still stands.
Well, I mean, the thing about him is that I think that stands true now, but it's him for the industry rather than just him for the company.
Yeah, and so that's the next piece is, okay, so now he's no longer in that role. What's the difference he's going to make now? Or maybe in 3 to 6 to 9 months, because someone who's been at that level, we know is going back to that level. High performers, when they get time out, don't sit on their couch watching Netflix and eating Cheetos for years at a time. They might have a few days when they do that, we're human, but they get back to being high performers again. So it's coming, and you serving him now might feel like, I'm just spending an hour a week with this guy, you know, it's what's the difference I'm making? But at some point, he'll be back in a role where he's serving thousands and thousands of people, making a massive difference. And the more you can help him right now to make that happen sooner, or like you just said, to make a difference in his industry right now instead of in a corporation, what a gift. And that means you're actually in your zone of genius. Because I could train you tomorrow to be doing webinars with thousands of people, and even if I said, let me give you a community of thousands of people, they might not be your people. It might not be the thing that makes you feel alive. You come alive when you sit down with extraordinary leaders. That's what I know about you.
Yeah, and I do too. Like, I do know that it's just, it's.
Jenny, I'm going to pause.
I'm just feeling what's going on in the world right now. Like, God,
all right, I heard that, Jenny. Your line's cutting out a little bit. The Wi-Fi connection's not good, so I'm going to pause you. What I heard you say at the very end is, I'm feeling what's going on in the world right now. Yeah. I don't know if you saw this. I posted this on Facebook a few days ago. I wrote that I had a session with, we have a couples therapist, Monique and I, and it's been invaluable at this moment in time. We do it over Zoom. And I said to her, I was feeling a bit guilty. I've been getting dressed in my exercise gear every day for a week and then not working out. And thinking if I only wore my running gear the next day, then I definitely work out. And it doesn't seem to work that way. And she said, have some compassion on yourself. There is so much going on in the world. There's so much happening to friends, to colleagues, just people we don't even know, strangers, that we're overwhelmed. And it's okay to have compassion with yourself. And so, yeah, you're feeling a lot right now. And that's not a bad thing that you're not doing as much as you could do in normal times. And I would say double down on your zone of genius. Those 1 or 2 things that you do that nobody else does. The one-on-one conversations when a high-level leader, the kind of people you work with, leaves with a sense of clarity and confidence, that's your gift. Do more of that.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's going to sound like a paradox, do less of that at the same time. Don't overdo it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah, nice to see you. I'm glad to see you. So again, you guys, if you post in the chat, what's an insight you've had from anything so far today? Oh, that's great. Chris says, I've become aware of all the opportunities I have to serve right now. That's great. Kate's going to focus on the 20%. The obstacle is the way. Slow down even more. Yeah, Chris, it's really counterintuitive. Aidan said, I made a menu that actually folds. I love it. 80-20 for a lot of you. Zone of genius, really important. Serving one person. Okay, great. I'm going to cut and paste something I want to post in here. So at the beginning of the call, I talked about the fact that it's important for yourself and for your clients to focus on the short term. What are you doing right now to make sure the family is taken care of, to make sure that you have money and you have resources and you have food and you're safe? That's short term. It's also important to think about the long term. And there's a writer I like called Paul Sloan. I think Paul's British. He writes about a lot about logical puzzles. There's kind of puzzles that are really fun to do with the kids. And so he's a great thinker. And he wrote something I saw a few days ago about 11 questions to ask during a recession. I'll post it in the chat in a minute once you guys have stopped sharing so you can see it. It won't disappear. And these 11 questions to ask during a recession. First of all, he says, are you doing everything necessary in order to survive? That's the first question. You have to ask that. Are you doing what you need to do to take care of yourself and to survive? Survival is the #1 priority for most businesses during a recession. But after that survival-based question, you've got to think about future-based questions and how you might profit in the future. And I'll distinguish that word profit because some people get nervous about it. If you're profiting by selling ventilators at 10 times the market price right now, that's actually profiteering. It's not the same thing. Making a profit means you've given real value to people in the world, and they've said, it's worth so much to me, I want to give you some money in return. And then you make a profit because your income is more than your expenses. Profit and profiteering are different things. Don't get them confused. If you're serving people right now, it's okay if they pay you. These are the 11 questions. I'm going to say them out loud and then I'll post them in the chat. But sometimes it's good to hear them. We've got 2 minutes left. I might run 5 minutes longer. Some of you may need to go. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll post the questions in there. You can grab them now. And then okay. That's the background to this. And then these are the questions. So you guys can capture them. Okay, these are the 10 questions. What's our added value? What do you do that adds value in a way that others don't? It's really time to reflect on that now. You can call yourself a coach and be compared to every other coach, but you're not a coach. You're Gina Smith or David Perry or Pamela Jacobi. You're Luisa Milano. You're Andrea Cruceru. You're unique, and there's something about you that you have to own your gifts and what you do and your experiences. What's the added value you bring? Why do customers or clients choose you? What makes you different? What problem do you solve for customers or clients? And what problem could you be solving down the road that you don't currently solve? What new problems will customers have in the future? What changes in the behavior and the needs of your clients will there be down the road? What assumptions are you making about the coaching industry or consulting that you do right now that could be different in 6 months, 3 months, 12 months? Give yourself time to think about the long term. It will be interesting and fun and exciting for you. This is a great exercise to take all your clients through. It allows you not just to solve the immediate problems, but to put some of your attention on the bigger problems so you're ready and prepared when the future arrives, when 3 months has gone by, when 6 months has gone by. And I wanted to leave you with that thought about how could you create the future now by actually taking some time to think about it. Let's pause in this moment. If you're in our Facebook group, I'm in there a lot, serving as much as I can. We had an Ask Me Anything thread the other day. Feel free to ask your questions in there. It's been really fun being there with you. I can't we had 100 people on at one point today. I can't coach everyone here. I can be here for you, and sometimes just being connected in this lonely world feels good right now. So yeah, thanks, Brian, because what I can also do is model how to coach in a group. And how I coach in a group is how I coach in any moment. I'm coaching one person at a time, and I know that's giving value to others. So thank you for the messages of thanks and acknowledgements you guys are sending. Some of you doing it privately as well. I appreciate that. Let's all unmute at the same time and send each other some love, sing a song, say something silly, do a dance. Love you guys.
Bye.
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 everyone.
Love and health and
Hi,
safety everyone out there.
Evelyn. Everyone.
Bye.
Hi.
Thank you, Rich. Bye. Thanks, Rich.
Careful.
Rich.
Thanks a lot. Bye, Evelyn.
Thanks, Rich.
Bye.
Amazing call.
Rich.
Great call, yeah.
Quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you, gang. Bye, everyone. See you next time. Bye, Arvind.
Bye-bye.
Bye.